Hi guys, today I'm going to explain how to create Kleene size tree based on the schema tree and the XML document. So if you see this figure, then this figure is schema tree and this is the XML document representation. Then we create the Kleene size tree, but here I will draw not the actual Kleene size tree but the bit vector representation of Kleene size tree. Okay, let's begin. So first, before proceeding, what we see is what we should know is we should always begin with the root node, and here E6 is the root node. Okay, let's begin, and we go to E6, and if you see the rule of E6, then it says there is a sequence. Says E6 has a sequence, and the first child is E5, and the second child is E5 star. So this means the comma means it has two childs. Comma is a sequence, and the first child is E5 and second child is E5 star because it goes through the star. Okay, so E6 rule says first child is E5. Let's forget about second child. It says first child is E5. So that's for sure, so we don't have to worry about it because the rule says if E6 will have first child E5. Okay, then we come to E5. Then so we don't have to save it because we get it from the rule itself. Then we come to E5, and E5, the rule of E5 says there is an option. So this is the choice or option, whatever you say, and option says it can either have several E1, so E1 star means several E1, or it can have one E2. Okay, so this means it has several E1. So this means the several E1. This star means several, means 0 to many. Star means 0 to many, 0 to many, and or it can have one E1. And if you see in this XML, then you can see there E5 has two E1. So this means we choose this path, not this path. So we have to save this path, and according to the convention, if you go to the left, then it's 0. If you go to the right then it's 1. So obviously we choose this path. We take several E1, so we write it 0, and we took 2 E1, so we also write 2. We also save this. Okay, then E5 is done. Then we come to E1. Okay, then rule of E1 says E1 has two childs, so this means two childs. This means a sequence of childs, and the first child can be either E2 or E3, and second child can be either, so this means option E3 or E4. And if you see E1, then first child is E2, so we have to choose it. So for E1 we choose E2, so we have to save this path. So E1 has option, E1 has two childs, so that's for sure E1 will have two child. So this is for sure E1 will have two child, and we have to save this E2. So this is for sure, and we have to save we took E2, means we went to this 0 edge. So E1 has two childs, that for sure, and we took E2 means we went to left. So we went to left and we took E2. So we went to left means 0. Yeah, and then for the right child we took E3. That means this is the path for right child, means we come here, then we took E3 means this. So still again we went to left, so that again means 0. 0 means we went to left. Okay, then we are done with E1. Then we come to this another E1, and here it says so it's the same rule. E1 has two childs, and right side can be either E2 or E3, left side can be either E3 or E4. So first we come to right side and it is E2. That means we went to left and we took E2. So we went to left means 0. Then we come to the right side is 4. That means we choose, so we come to right part and we choose E3, E4. E4 is the right, right. So this is the 0 edge, this is the 1 edge. So we write 1. Okay, then we are done with this E2 and E3, E4 also. So we are done with all this section. So we come to E6 again. And remember, we processed this part. Now we have to process the right part, the right side. And the right side can be E5 star. So this means the right side can have several E5. That means 0 to several. And if you see, then there are 2 E5. So that means we write 2. That means there are 2 E5. Okay. Now we come to this E5. And the rule of E5 says there is a choice of either several E1 or one E2. If you see, there is no any child of E5. This means we took E1 star, and how many E1 we took? That is 0 E1. So we have to save this also. So this means we took left, that is 0. We choose to have several E1, and we had none of the E1. Yeah, so this also means 0. We took left choice and we have 0 E1. Okay, then we come to E5, and E5 has the same rule. It's either you can have one E2, several E1, or one E2. Here we have E1, so that means we choose left, and we have one E1. Then we come to E1, and the E1 has the same. Right side is either E2 or E3, and left side is E1 or E2 or E3, and right side is E3 or E4. And here it says it's E2, so we choose the left. So that is, so let me write down 0. And for the right side also we choose E3, that is again 0. Yeah. Then this is our Kleene size tree, the whole thing.